So welcome to another episode of After Credits. I'm the host of the most, I am Barnyard, and with me we have the men that never has a plan, Daniel and Brittany in the back, hiding.
I don't have a cool name.
No, she don't, not yet.
Not yet. You haven't earned it.
I'm like one of the 7 dwarves, Sleepy.
Sleepy?
Sleepy.
Well,
No, that's a lame name.
yeah.
What about narcolepsy? Narco? I'll go with narco.
Alright, well, let's go with Narco,
I'm gonna stick with Brittany.
Narco cheese.
Y'all ruined everything.
And we have someone who hasn't been in a review before, my friend Lindsay.
Hey.
Hey, our friend Lindsay, I should
Our
say.
friend Lindsay. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, no, I'm being selfish. We just got out of A Cure for Wellness about 2 weeks after it came out.
That was the shittiest King Kong movie I've ever
I
seen.
know, dude. Fuck AMC.
We were supposed to go see Kong Skull Island today. AMC sent me an email saying because I was a Stubbs member, I could get free access to a really early screening of it. I show up, and they can't find me they found me in the system, but you're not a Premier member. You've been downgraded to an Insider. Why the fuck y'all send me the email? I'm pretty sure Insider is just a way for saying, hey, look at all the cool shit you could have if you pay $15. Throw it up. Stars Dane Dehaan.
That's his name?
Yes.
I just call him the shitty
Harry
goblin.
Osborn.
The shitty goblin, yeah.
It also stars Jason Isaacs, known as Lucius Malfoy. There's some weird connections between his character and here and in Harry Potter. And then we've got Shia LaBeouf's wife, I think, Mia Goth. It was about Dane Dehaan. He's some bigwig, like junior executive in a Wall Street firm, and he's sent to go out into the Swiss Alps to recover a senior executive who's lost his goddamn mind, and in order to do some financial mumbo jumbo that'll earn Dane Dehaan a really big promotion, he's got to bring this executive back. The only problem is the hospital that he's at is weird as fucking shit. It might as well be the Grand Budapest Asylum. Jason Isaacs, it plays the main doctor in charge of everything. There's some creepy legends, there's some creepy castles, there's eels, spoopy shit. I wouldn't say it's really spooky, but
I thought it's spoopy. I was about to question. Oh.
I know, spoopy. It's not quite spooky, but you know, it pretends like it is. So let's get the obvious out of the way. This shit is too goddamn long. It's 2.5 fucking hours, and it doesn't deserve that.
I didn't think it felt that long.
It was 2.5 hours.
I mean,
It
the
was
only reason it felt
way
long
too
was because I really had to pee towards the end. But
Well, you need to get up and pee. And
They
then-
could have done that whole storyline in about an hour and a half.
it's the thing with a lot of movies now. They're all getting to be like 2.5 hours. I think we're just gonna have to get used to that.
Theaters are so obsessed with like making money and big box office, but I mean, if you have a 2.5 hour movie, you can only put that in a screen for maybe like what 3 or 4 times, whereas like an hour and a half, you could put like 5 or 6. I don't know what's the trend.
You're losing money that way.
It's directed by Gore Verbinski, who did The Lone Ranger and the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So, 50-50.
Which movie?
First one.
Okay.
The good one. I was mad for a really long time at this movie, but then, like, in the last 15 minutes, I got it.
It finally clicked.
I think this was supposed to be a kind of cousin to the 60s Hammer horror movies. Like with Christopher Lee as Dracula, and especially Peter Cushing as Dr. Frankenstein. Because when that came out, it's like, it's really silly stories, but it kind of cranked up the blood, and it cranked up the sex, and it kind of became more risque. But it still kind of kept that gothic vibe, and the gothic vibe is what I love about this movie. But the problem is Gore Verbinski puts too much kind of weird shit in it.
I love that about this. I love weird shit like that. That's why I like Nocturnal Animals.
I felt like the movie could have ended 3 different times before it actually did, and just kind of leave an ambiguous ending. At some points I was like, alright, cool, this is cool, this is cool. At some points I was like, why?
Lindsay, what did you think about this?
I didn't like it. I honestly just... I was telling him a couple minutes ago that it was just way too predictable for me.
Let's go into a spoiler alert. We're going to talk about all this, because you really can't talk about this movie without really going into it. So if you just want final thoughts and scores out of 6 cars, we can line up 6 cars and see. Oh, God forbid if one of us gives it a half star.
That'd be an extensive review.
Time code's right there. Scroll there if you want our final thoughts and scores out of 6 stars. Otherwise, let's get into this.
Was that the daughter or no?
Yes.
Okay.
But as she mentioned, the time frame is really
Well,
off.
I noticed
that's
that they
what I'm
were
saying.
explaining that, like, I don't know if this is connected, but they said the eel's average lifespan is, what, 12 years? But because of the hyped up water they were all drinking. The eels could live up to 300 years in their aquifer.
That
makes
actually makes perfect
these people
sense.
are all drinking the water, then they're living way past intended lifespan.
Yeah.
And I guess with the water, it kind of makes sense with the whole your teeth are falling out.
Yeah, 'cause your
like with
body's
him with
rotting.
a peel away face, it was like, how can you live that long with your actual face?
Yeah.
Now it makes
And
sense.
in the
that
beginning, not in the beginning, but whenever we first saw like the catacombs, you could see the faces, like the literal carved out faces that he had lined up, and I guess those were his faces that he put on from the beginning of every day, like we all do.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's surgery. All of this is kind of like a pseudo satire. Oh, I say pseudo. It is a satire of,
What?
I don't know, just Western capitalism. They work you like a dog. You get no time to relax or rest. It's the pressures of the modern world that are ultimately killing us. And so what you need to do
Is that a lie?
you need to simplify things. I think with this movie is that everything's so obvious, but it pretends like it's so mysterious. Like Lindsay said, I predicted this shit maybe an hour in.
Well, we've also seen it done before. Like, there are some serious Shutter Island vibes in here. Come on.
Shining is the one that everyone's bringing up, and I could see it.
I see it a lot.
It's just a generic psychological thriller, but it's still throwing some new elements. Like,
I don't know if y'all thought the whole scene where he's getting dental surgery and they open up his mouth, I got a huge Clockwork
Clockwork
Orange
Orange,
vibe.
yeah.
But it
I
was
did too.
hilarious to me. He's just like,
well, why did you be like that if somebody was sticking forceps in your cheeks?
But it's just funny.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, but it's funny to look
I
at.
thought it was pretty.
Stuff like that
done.
makes me not want to go to a dentist. Like,
I'm just
at
saying,
all.
Melissa
Into the
McCarthy
dentist.
did the
I got
same
3
joke
root canals
last
the other
year.
day, and I'm just like, why would he pull his own tooth out? Like, if you have a loose tooth, you wiggle it a little bit. Okay, we've all done that as kids when we got loose teeth. We play with it. But he, like, pulled the fucking root out. Who does that? He was sick. He belonged there.
One of the big things in this movie is like, oh my god, their teeth are falling out. And so Dane Dehaan looks in the mirror, and whenever he goes to the mirror to pull out his teeth, those teeth were so fucking fake. Those were dentures like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
He just goes, and pulls out.
I could
the
tell
root.
because his mouth was like a little chubby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy jacking off was so random.
Oh my god.
Let me
This
just state
movie
that,
went
like,
a
it was
little
so
too far in some
random.
places.
That was funny.
That
That-
was
That
random.
made me want to crawl out of my skin.
What that reminded me of was the scene in The Shining where the teddy bear is giving the guy a blowjob while the kid's in the hallway.
Oh, I
Just
remember that scene.
random
What
as
movie?
fuck.
Did you say
The Shining. Yeah.
Shining.
I don't remember that scene.
You don't
Oh, yeah.
remember the teddy bear giving the guy a blowjob?
Did you know we watched that movie together?
Yeah, Danny was riding in the tricycle, I think, past the hallway, and he just looked in, and the teddy bear kind of like lifted his
Oh,
head up after giving the guy a blowjob.
Anybody gonna talk about that rape scene? I'm just gonna mention the white elephant in the room here.
He did penetrate her with a finger.
Finger, yeah.
Yeah, counts.
And then he sniffed it.
Ah!
That was so fucking funny! Oh my god! I was trying not to lose it!
Oh my god.
Like, what are you doing?
You would have been the only one in that theater
This movie
busting
did a
out.
great job.
It's so ridiculous!
Yeah.
It was like some Buffalo Bill shit.
Yeah, it
seriously.
was.
Like, I've been waiting years for this. You've been waiting years to smell her crotch. Like,
He's literally spending the movie trying to brew this pussy,
Oh,
like
God.
like fine wine, just.
she finally
Hey.
gets her monthly thing, and he's like, glory.
That was a lot of. I thought that was a miscarriage or something.
Yeah.
So did I. Oh my god, when she's in the pool and she has her first period and all the eels are around her, and then they end up circling her like the queen, did y'all not think Jupiter Ascending?
Yes.
Like with the bees shit?
With the bees
That
just
was so
wrapping around
fucking
her.
funny. There's so much just random shit that happens into it that makes this movie so much longer than it needs to be, and you're just sitting there trying not to laugh because there's people around you. There is so much daddy fetish here. It's amazing. Especially the bondage fetish too, near the end, and the dentist
Yes,
thing.
like,
Masochism. This is basically Marilyn Manson's wet dream.
him in the tank when he had the little breath thing they give scuba divers and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
and it's eels are just all
That's
around
what gave
him.
me the creeps out of this entire movie.
Well, I don't like. Being
reminded
in
me-
deep water.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
fear of mine
Yeah.
to be like, if I can't get to the surface like quick enough and get like a breath, and I'm locked in somewhere, that terrifies me.
Well, we can talk about that random flashback scene that this movie was doing.
To his dead
So did
mom.
it happen like before he left?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get that either.
Yeah, I did.
I have a feeling like she had a vision that he was gonna get in the car accident that supposedly broke his leg.
That's what it looked
And
like.
then she died of a heart attack because it was like too much stress or something.
That's
Yeah.
what I got. They didn't really portray that very well if she did die before he got there.
The mom had the ballerina thing in her hand, and when she dropped it after she had the thing, it broke
he had it?
with the ballerina just still intact, and he had the ballerina.
Okay.
Boom, bitches.
That was really subtle though.
Not really.
Not really.
They have a line that says it was like 2 days after, or 2 days prior she died.
Why did they have to do it in that order? Like, why couldn't...
Because he's an artiste.
I wish they could have done it just like he went to talk to his mom and then like overnight.
No,
Like,
because
him.
that's too linear.
What was with the people in the tanks? Like the water tanks, no oxygen, just floating there. Like how do they?
They were preserving the bodies.
Were they alive, or
I
were
don't
they just
fucking
like
Well,
life support?
Ask the director.
Well,
I don't have all the
Well,
solution.
the CEO that he went looking for and saw him in the tank ended up showing up when he ran away.
That's true.
So it's like, are they dead? Are they not dead? Are some of them
We
dead?
need a
Like,
sequel.
No.
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 There are some points where the people are just kind of like delusional. You don't know if they're hypnotized. You don't know if they're zombies. At one point, Dane Dehaan says, nothing's wrong with you, and that becomes kind of like their trigger.
Yeah.
and
What's
they
up
have.
with that?
They're
I have a
sleeper
theory
agents.
about all of
Is there
this.
are they like sleeper agents for the hospital, and that was their...
No, actually. The theory doesn't have anything to do with this movie. Gore Verbinski a while back was in talks, not just in talks, he was in pre-production to do the BioShock movie.
There was a BioShock movie.
There was going to be a BioShock
They should have
movie.
done that
and
instead
they
of
were-
Assassin's Creed.
And they were gonna start. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that later. But they were supposed to do a BioShock movie, and they were about to be on production when this was around 2008 when the studio kind of just dropped it. And Verbinski at the time, he said something about like, okay, that made sense because that was a lot of money for an R-rated movie, for a video game movie that hadn't done great. You know, it was a big risk for a company to take. And then he cited something like, well, you know, with the success of Deadpool and stuff like that, maybe we can get another chance at it. I think this was
could
the
see
chance.
The water, the creepy girl, the
That girl.
masks, things that they were wearing.
The
like,
social
even
commentary,
those.
not necessarily the art
Like even the
deco.
way the little girl was dressed.
In BioShock, the main crux of the movie is when the protagonist finds out that he's been a slave the entire time, because every time he's asked to do something or go further in the game, the person asks, would you kindly do whatever? And it's the would you kindly that's a trigger phrase.
Hannah in the movie gave me that vibe of it's just a little sister, like the same kind of dress. She just
Yeah.
needed pigtails, and that would have been it.
Spoiler alert, Cure
The
for
sto-
Wellness is actually BioShock.
The story is by Gore Verbinski with help from, I guess, Justin Haith, I think, if I read the
I hope
credits right.
this is a real thing. Like,
But
I want to see people write articles about this later.
Confirm
on.
it.
It makes a lot of sense if this was like a retconned BioShock script. You see Jason Isaacs kind of reveal his old face, a la Phantom of the Opera, a la
Yeah.
House of Wax.
Imagine-
It reminded me
Yeah.
of that
Right?
old Hollywood atmospheric horror movie, which is something we really
Haven't had in a while.
haven't had in a while. Something that's tried to go this gothic, but still kind of entertain in a sense, like push the boundaries.
Yeah.
If you scroll to the time code, what's up? It's been a fun time. I've had a good time chatting, catching up with a bunch of friends, and talking about a movie that we saw. We were talking about A Cure for Wellness, and right now we've got final thoughts and scores out of 6 stars.
I didn't like it. I'll give it 2 out of 6.
That's your final thoughts?
I don't have much thoughts to this movie. It was so all over the place.
That's
Like,
usually me ever.
I'm trying not to give these people spoilers that jumped ahead.
I thought it wasn't bad. Some of the scenes were silly. Some of the scenes were cringeworthy. It was okay. I mean, it was long as shit, dude. At first, I was, trying to, just stay along and keep up with the story and stuff, and, be hopeful something cool would happen. But 2.5 hours of that, I couldn't do it all. I'll give it a.
What number is
You
that
were
one?
going,
I'll-
I
somewhere.
might have to cut up a car.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
Alright. This movie ended up not pissing me off, because at first I thought it was pretentious, and then when it gets to the end, I realized that this movie just kind of fails at doing an old school gothic horror movie. Had it been a lot shorter, and I guess a little bit more self-aware, because it carries that social commentary a little too long through the thread. Have a drinking game where you take a shot every time Jason Isaacs says the word patient. You'll be fucked up. Actually, this might make that movie better. You know what?
Yeah.
This is a drinking game movie. If you want to buy it on DVD and fucking lose your shit, take a shot of tequila every time Jason Isaacs says patient.
You're gonna
That'd be
send these
perfect.
people to be patients at hospitals with alcohol poisoning. Careful, Daniel.
Drink responsibly.
There you go.
Give it a 3. It's alright.
Brandon.
I think I liked it the most out of all of us. As always, I'm not very hard on movies. I do agree that it was long.
Except for the ones Daniel loves.
Yeah, right. It was long, but only in the beginning. I feel like it started out really slow, but towards the end, it picked up a lot. And I found myself, I had to pee so bad this entire movie, but I found myself like squirming in my seat, like I have to know what happens next. I can't go to the bathroom. I'm strong. I can stick through this. I'd give it 5 and 5.
3.5.
Hey, look at that!
That's a good score.
Just squeaks by with a marginal
That's something
recommendation.
you can recommend
3.5.
3.5 stars for Cure for Wellness.
I'm only gonna recommend this if you're gonna have that fun drinking game with it, because I do think it's gonna help pass the
I
time.
feel like this has its audience though. Like, it's a psychological thriller that we've needed.
If y'all like this bullshit, like button's right below. If you want to be the first to find out when new videos are out, we've got the subscribe button as well. As far as social media, we got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Lindsay, you got anything you want to plug?
Don't forget to hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe thing so you guys actually get notified about their videos that get uploaded. That's a new thing that's been on YouTube lately.
Yeah, I noticed.
So,
Fuck, we should have started doing that. Good job, Lindsay. Lindsay's got our back. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Y'all take care.
Fuck AMC.
And
see.
we'll see y'all later. Good night.